up, guys? It's your boy Alex. Welcome back to the Brave Lionheart channel. More specifically, welcome back to the Lionheart Review Corner. And today, yeah, we got another bad movie to talk about. Yeah, it's the same curse like each year. Occasionally, we will get a couple of good movies, and then we will get a lot of bad ones. And boys and girls, this is a doozy of a bad one to talk about. So, if you couldn't tell, sorry, I had to clear my throat there for a second because I just ate, and I honestly did not feel like doing this review. But, got to get content out for you guys. So, yeah, if you couldn't tell from the title, today we're looking at quite possibly one of the most hyped up movies of 2021. Again, a little too hyped up for this year. Today we are looking at Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe origin story. Yeah. And honestly, it's a statement of the year, actually, if I do say so myself. Just a quick little announcement. I've never watched the G.I. Joe cartoon that came out. I mean, I know about the theme song. I know how catchy it is. Never watched the cartoon, but I did used to have the toys when I was a kid. And Snake Eyes was one of my favorite toys that I had. I had both him and Storm Shadow, just like the little mini action figures of both of them. Not the other Joes for some reason, which is kind of odd. But I also never really watched the other G.I. Joe films that were present. But, let's just get this out of the way. Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe origin story. Yeah, that's a title that just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? So, like I said, this movie was released in 2021, and also, like I said before, I have not seen the other two G.I. Joe films. I think one was called Retaliation, and the other one was called Rise of Cobra, which I think that was like the first G.I. Joe movie that came out. For some reason, it starred Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and we all know he's been in a lot of movies since then. So I didn't know what to expect going into this as like a moviegoer, and again, like I said at the beginning of this, have not watched the cartoon, but I did own the toys as a kid. So, going into this movie, I was expecting to see actually a really decent origin story for the one character that never really talked or said anything. And what I got to see, well, you'll just have to watch the start of the review to find out. And I will bet a lot of you are going to be asking the question of what I thought of this movie, since I said I clearly didn't want to do this review. Well, I was going to save this for the final thoughts, but again, I probably won't mention this again. I really, really hated this movie. And I know a lot of you are probably going to disagree with me that have watched this movie already, and that's completely fine. You can have your own opinion. I'm pretty sure some of you like this movie, but my opinion is I hated this movie, and so did my dad. We both ended up watching this, and we wanted to see this movie when it came out. But this movie just did so many things to make me hate it so much. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I hated this movie in my review. So, let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into Snake Eyes. And no, I'm not going to call it a G.I. Joe origin story because, there's a reason I'm saying that it's a bad origin story. I'm just getting that out of the way. And I'm going to talk about why it's a bad origin story in this review. Let's just get this over with. So, I'm going to paint a picture of the opening of this movie. You see a little boy hanging out with his father in their house. And some thugs show up saying that the father owes them something. Basically, the father dies. Now, where have we actually seen that before? I don't know. Let's think. Where have we seen it? Oh, yeah, in basically every other origin story. Yeah, I know. It's a common thing in other origin stories that a loved one, like a parent or a sibling, would die by the hands of some, not as big villain as the one you're trying to chase after, which we'll talk about that in a sec. But It's just such an overused trope in most origin stories. And that's not what you want to see in an origin story, let alone a Snake Eyes origin story. I mean, okay, it's like someone who wrote this movie sat in like a big time executive producer office and just thought one day, yeah, you know, I really don't feel like writing an original thing for this character, let alone considering it's Snake Eyes. What's in the files today? What can we put on the script that's in the files? Oh, a loved one dying. Yep, plop that on the script. It's so overused. Writers out there, you know that you're better than that. You are 10 times better than that. Okay, so, moving on from that, we are finally introduced to our main character, Snake Eyes. And considering that we don't really get a original name for him, we just get his name Snake Eyes for the whole movie. Oh, by the way, you want to know how he got that name? Because the villain rolled rigged dice, yes, that's right, rigged dice, so it always lands on Snake Eyes. So that's basically how he got his name. Yeah, throw originality out of the movie too, of course. Throw it more out the window, of course, because we don't want to hear, something really cool of how he got his name. Okay, let's just move on. So yeah, we meet Snake Eyes in sort of an underground fighting arena. So he's kind of like Cole from the Mortal Kombat reboot. Yeah, those two can definitely get along together, I'll tell you that much. So, he's in underground fighting, but it turns out he also is kind of in debt to the Yakuza. If you don't know what the Yakuza is, they're basically the Japanese mafia, but a little bit more tense. And it turns out he has to go help deal with the Yakuza with his friend, again, not remembering his real name because I'll talk about his actual name when we get further into this review, who is actually played by Andrew Koji, who most of you actually might remember from probably one of my favorite AMC shows that my dad got me into, Warriors. If anyone hasn't seen it, definitely let me know in the comments section. I will talk about that show as much as I can from remembering the first season of it, because I haven't watched season 2 of it yet. So, we'll just call him Andrew, basically, because of his real name. So Andrew and Snake Eyes are going to face off against the Yakuza. They basically have a plan where he's faking that he's going to kill Andrew, but they face off the Yakuza and escape. I want to talk about the fight scenes in this movie real quick, because I honestly did enjoy a bit of the fight scenes in this movie. But the one thing they brought back is the freaking shaky cam. From, some of those, old school, it's basically like shaky cam when, someone films a backyard fight, or backyard wrestling stuff. Which, those are fine, because I enjoy those, but when it's in a, big budget movie, you don't want to see that. And I'll talk about it again in my final thoughts of how I felt about the fight scenes. So yeah, they basically escape. Andrew gets a shave off screen, of course, and tells Snake Eyes that they're going back to his home, which leads into a top-secret ninja assassin clan. And no, it's not the League of Shadows from Batman. From the Christian Bale Batman. Now I'm just realizing, since I said that, I want to see Christian Bale in this movie, just still doing that Batman voice. My name is Snake Eyes, and I want to join the G.I. Joes or something. It's just so funny. Alright, but yeah, moving on. So, Snake Eyes, in order to basically join the clan, he has to take on what's known as the Warrior's Trials. There are 3 trials he has to take on, and one of them is taking on the Hard Master. I'll leave you guys to figure out a joke about that name in the comments section. And whoever comes with the best one, I will commend you for that, because I would want to hear all your jokes about that name, Hard Master. Okay, so yeah, his first trial is going against the Hard Master, and basically not letting his bowl of water spill, while also trying to get his bowl of water, the Hard Master's, God, that name just sounds so dumb. Just getting the Hard Master's bowl of water. He tries 2 attempts and it fails, and he gets his 3rd attempt, and he just basically says, "Hey man, can I have your bowl of water?" Yeah. And he basically just does that. Now, you're probably sitting through this movie just thinking, wow, I actually do like this character. He's really enjoyable. And again, I'll give credit to the actor Henry Gooding, which hopefully if that is his name, and if I didn't pronounce it right, I apologize. Yeah, he actually does some pretty good acting in this movie. But then, it's when you realize he drives back to town on a motorcycle, and you find out he's working for the Yakuza boss that tried to murder him and Andrew Koji earlier in this movie. You know, just give me a sec because I really need to talk about this. Okay. I want to talk about how I felt about this when they made that reveal. The fact that you wrote in the script that Snake Eyes, who happens to be a good guy, not a bad guy, works for the villain in this movie. And yes, the Yakuza leader is a villain in this movie. Not Cobra Commander or anyone that works at Cobra, which we'll talk about in a second, because there's characters that pop up in this movie, because, you know, it's a G.I. Joe origin story. Just, why would you put that in the movie? It makes no sense, and it makes people want to hate the main character so much, which, by the way, I have hated the main character in this movie. Now, I don't even want to see him complete the trials. Which we'll talk about the 3rd trial in a second, which is utter bullcrap at how it works. And again, you guys can disagree with me all you want. That is completely fine. It's your opinion. Your opinion matters. I don't know why you would put that in a Snake Eyes origin story. Okay, so speaking of the trials, he goes back and goes on a little vision quest for his 2nd trial to understand by seeing his dad die again, which again doesn't make any sense, but he completes the trial already. And speaking of like G.I. Joe characters that pop up, guess who happens to show up? Just one of the G.I. Joes. I forgot her name, but she's in the cartoon series and apparently in some comics also. I also really don't remember the name of the actress that plays her, but she does a pretty good job in this movie. And Cobra Commander's 3rd in command. You know, the sexy black hair lady that, like, wears the glasses. Again, if I forget character names, remember, I didn't watch the cartoon growing up. I remember seeing the intro, but I did not watch the cartoon. So if you guys can let me know character names in this, please do, because I easily forgot, like, some of the character names in this movie, and for a lot of reasons. Yeah, and it's also, she's a character that wears a lot of sexy outfits in Cobra Command. The outfits she wears, they're fine. They don't, like, over-sexualize her or anything, which is not something you want to see in a movie like this. Moving on. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that, Snake Eyes, God, now I don't even want to call him that. He doesn't even earn that name. Has a love interest in this movie. And that's Andrew Koji's, sister. Well, not his actual sister, but his character's sister in this movie named Akiko. Although we could basically call her love interest number 60, I guess, because there's a lot of those in origin stories and superhero films. So, before the 3rd trial goes off, Snake Eyes, Andrew Koji, and Akiko all go to see exactly what the Yakuza boss is up to. And, again, we get a pretty cool fight scene that was shown in the trailer with Andrew Koji facing off against the Yakuza boss in the rain on top of a roof. while having a sword fight, which it's a pretty okay fight scene. But then you realize that most of them have their stuff from Cobra. Now, we don't even see Cobra in this movie, we barely get a mention of Cobra in this movie, so, I'll talk about that in the final thoughts of this movie, but let's just move on. So, after that, the third trial of the Warriors trial begins, and it's the weirdest one that I've ever seen. So basically, you get thrown into this huge pit where two giant CGI snakes, and they're CGI, by the way, remember that, CGI is now ruling the world. One is a regular giant snake, one is like a giant black snake, and all they have to do is just stare at you to tell if you have a pure of heart. And you can see the problem with that right off the bat, because this freaking Snake Eyes has no pure heart. Throughout this whole entire movie, he is a jerk to everything and everyone he talks to. So you're thinking, yeah, he should fail this trial. But no! Somehow the snakes don't kill him and he freaking passes the trial. Are you freaking kidding me? And we're only halfway through this movie, people. We're only halfway through this and half past the stupidity that goes on in this movie. So let's move on. So yeah, Snake Eyes passes the trial. He apparently finds this sacred treasure that he was supposed to get for the Yakuza boss, which, keep in mind, is a crystal that shoots out fire. And you put that in one house with no security guards, by the way. Yeah, you have a laser-guided system that protects it somehow, but no extra security to protect it. I can see why most of your clan members have failed at missions. So yeah, he gets into the Yakuza boss, and he gives what he promised Snake Eyes. The man that killed his father, who, by the way, works for Cobra. Yeah, he just works for Cobra. Surprisingly. And I had to look up if this guy was a character in the Cobra Army or in the cartoon or any of the comics. No, he's just some random guy that works for Cobra. Great. And you get that trouble thinking, oh, is he going to kill him and get his revenge? And no, he just lets him live. So now, Snake Eyes realizes he has to go save him. Although, like I said, he doesn't earn this redemption whatsoever. Nothing he has done has got him to earn this redemption at all in this entire film. Okay, we're almost through this movie, people. We're almost through the pain. And again, I apologize if I'm getting so angry in this review already halfway into it. This movie just does so many dumb things. And again, your opinion matters. If you like this movie, that is completely fine. Your opinion matters. Let's just move on. So, after going through his whole redemption, again, he didn't freaking earn the redemption. We get another fight scene, this time on the highway, where Andrew, Koji, and Akiko are basically going off to face Snake Eyes and the Yakuza leaders. But he gets there, honestly, Andrew Koji has the perfect reaction. That he doesn't earn their respect at all, clearly, for what he did. So, yeah, basically the final battle takes place at the clan, and some of the masters, they show off their skills by taking out some of the Yakuza leaders. For some reason, the girl from the Joe side and the girl from the Cobra side have a temporary truce, which honestly should not work out, honestly. And so everyone goes against the Yakuza leader, everyone just faces off, and Snake Eyes even coins the phrase, "Yo, Joe." And I just was sitting there going like, oh, he didn't earn that! Like, again, nothing he has done in this movie has given him the right to earn those kind of rights. So yeah, moving on. Sorry, I had to fix my hair. The final battle takes place with the Yakuza leader and Snake Eyes, and they end up being thrown into the snake pit, which, again, the snakes should have eaten Snake Eyes, but no, they eat the Yakuza leader instead. Which, it just doesn't make any sense! So yeah. Then, of course, the dumbest thing happens. The one character that you like, which, I'm gonna say this right off the bat. Andrew Koji should have been Snake Eyes. Which I feel like the writers of this movie probably wrote an original script where Andrew Koji was Snake Eyes. But they're just like, no, we gotta get this other guy in because he's a pretty decent actor. We want to put underrated actors into this movie, which is a fine thing for if you're doing for films. It's a good thing you want to get more underrated actors in your films, but you at least have to make the characters likable. So, yeah. Andrew Koji's character gets kicked out of the clan. He swears vengeance on Snake Eyes, which really shouldn't have been a thing. And the biggest thing that this character did not earn, he still gets the Snake Eye suit. At the end of the freaking movie. Yeah, you were literally probably in the theaters, sitting there waiting for the Snake Eye suit to show up, and it appears at the end of the movie for a character that doesn't deserve it! And he also gets to join the G.I. Joe team. Yippity-doo. Or, yippee for you. Sorry, I don't know why I said yippity-doo. So, you think that's where the movie ends, but no. They have to mess it up even further. And by the way, they showed this after end credits scene in the trailer, and yet at some point in the movie, it makes you think, wait, this character is Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes' rival. And that's where the movie ends. Yay. Well, there you go, guys. That was my review on Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe origin story. And what are my thoughts on it now after having sat through it and reviewed it again? Yeah, I still hate it. I really wanted this to be a good origin story for Snake Eyes. But it just did so many things wrong with this movie. Like, everything else about this movie is just fine. But the other stuff that this movie did just made me so mad. And the same thing with my dad, because again, he's the one who watched it with me, and he had the same things to say about it. Just, really? But you know, I'm gonna be fair. Let's get the good stuff out of the way. Like I already said, Henry Gooding playing Snake Eyes, he's a pretty good actor. His acting's really good. I do like some of the dialogue. Some normal dialogue he has is fine. But the character is just so hateable. Like, literally, everything he has done in this entire movie. Again, like I said, he has done nothing in the entire movie to have his character redeemed at all. But again, I like the actor. He's a pretty decent actor in this movie. I give him credit for that. He's a really good actor. And Andrew Koji does a pretty good job, which again, I feel like he should have been Snake Eyes for the whole movie. In fact, I'll give you what I think they should have done for this movie for an origin story. And you guys can let me know what you think of my idea for, like, a Snake Eyes origin story. What they could have done for this film. But again, a lot of the other characters, I don't really think they should have added the G.I. Joe characters whatsoever. They basically did nothing for this entire movie, except for the final fight thing going on, whatever, something like that. some of the action is pretty good. Some of the fight scenes are alright. But now, let's get the bad things out of the way. You already know what I said about the Snake Eyes character throughout this whole review. And again, shaky cam is not something you want to bring back in 2021. It was a problem for a lot of films that did it. Not specifically like found footage films, because it makes sense. It's from the perspective of the person holding the camera, or a thing holding the camera, but nowadays no one wants to see shaky cam in fight scenes. We actually want to see a lot of good fight scenes in this movie, and it barely gave us that. And again, the biggest problem for this movie is the origin story itself. Again, it did so many things that has been done in an origin story. We've seen so many of these things in other fine origin stories that we've gotten. And we don't want to see that again in an actual origin story. And again, for a Snake Eyes origin story nonetheless. So, before I give my final thoughts on this movie, I want to give you my idea of what they should have done for this film. Okay, so first off, make Andrew Koji's character Snake Eyes, because he was perfect for that role. He was perfect for it. Considering some of the dumb stuff they had him do in the movie that kind of almost didn't redeem him and turned him into Storm Shadow for some reason. But yeah, make him Snake Eyes and kind of have him be a mute throughout this whole movie. Just say basically he's a mute throughout this whole movie, and occasionally we only get like a grunt or like a moan or something, and just have him like write down stuff on a piece of paper. Like, have his reason for why he doesn't talk, because again, remember, Snake Eyes doesn't talk, and the character in the movie that is Snake Eyes talks throughout the whole movie. But it makes sense, you need dialogue for a character, but again, have him be a mute, and have the reason for why he doesn't talk, like some tragic, like, story happened to him, and it was because of that Yakuza leader that we saw in the movie. And then basically, you know, have at the point in the final battle where it looks like he's gonna kill that Yakuza leader, but he doesn't, and the clan, like, members deal with him throughout the whole thing. Like, they throw him in that snake pit and kill him. And then, basically, for his rival Storm Shadow, why not have it be someone in the clan that was working for the Yakuza leader, or just Cobra, for the whole time? That actually would have made more sense, and build up their rivalry throughout this whole movie. And when at that point, when he gets found out, and he's thrown out of the clan, he then swears vengeance against Snake Eyes. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think about that idea for a Snake Eyes origin story in the comments section. So, what do I give Snake Eyes? Again, despite some of the decent acting in the movie and some decent fight scenes in the movie, the overall problem with the main character and the story and the addition of characters from the G.I. Joe franchise that didn't need to be in the movie, I'm gonna give Snake Eyes a 4.3 out of 10. Again, if you guys liked this movie, that's completely fine. That's your own opinion. That matters. If you guys like this movie, that's fine. Me personally, I did not like this movie. And I feel like they really could have done better with the story, honestly. Well, I'm gonna go make myself a drink to calm myself down and probably get ready for October with some stuff coming up and possibly some horror-related films that came out and talk about those. Maybe they'll calm me down. So, with that being said, thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell to never miss a new video. With that being said, I will see all you awesome guys and gals later. Bye-bye!